everyone, we're gonna do a review today. What kind of review? A body review. On what body? The Resinsoul 61cm boy body. That's what. Something to keep in mind before we get into this review is that Conard here has been restrung with thicker and stronger elastic, and his hip piece has also undergone some modding. So here we have my doll Conrad, whom is a Bobobie Apollo head on a Resinsoul body, both of which are in normal skin. Including the head, this doll is 61 centimeters tall. For the Bobobie Apollo head, he can wear a 7'9" size wig, and I'm not entirely sure how big or small of eyes he can wear, but the ones that he has in currently are 16 millimeters. He does have a head cap, which comes off fairly easily. And it's got a little hook here and a magnet. And the hook latches into this little hole here. And then you got the magnet on the back. His head is kept on with an S-hook. And then his eyes are kept in with putty. For head mobility, his head can go off to the side, like so. And then he can't really look up very much. This is about as far as it goes. You can look down about that much. Doesn't have the greatest range of motion. And as far as I can remember, the gang head, which is where who is the original owner of this body, he couldn't move his head very much either, so I think you could probably expect about the same from most any Bobobie or Resinsoul head if you're gonna put it on this body. So for the arms, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces. For this shoulder piece, it's actually kind of cool because it's got this little kind of latch thing there, which keeps his arm up. Then we got the elbow, which is just a floating piece there, and it can bend about that much. It does have a tendency though to be a bit kicky, so just like the slightest touch will send it upwards. And then we got the hand, which is quite nicely sculpted, and it's got a decent range of motion. You can go about that much and stay. You can force it about that much. And like that, and you can kind of go off to the side a little bit. Not much. He does have a 3-piece torso. So he's got the bust, his belly, and his hips. So for this top piece, it can go off the side quite a lot, but it looks really weird. I'm sure if you put some clothes on him, it would look kind of sort of better. And then it can bend back like so. And forward. Be careful with this piece though, because it does have a tendency to bite. For this piece in the hip, it can go forward like so, and back, and off to the side. It looks really weird though, so I don't really use it that much because of how wacko it looks. This is where we come to the place that I modded. For dolls straight from the company, the hip piece will look quite a bit different. There'd be like maybe that much more resin on here, and yeah. I had to mod my boy because he could not sit properly without the modding, so when he would sit, he'd be leaning back maybe that much, and then this butt piece would have been like about that far out. If you look at the company photos, you'll be able to see it pretty clearly in some of their pictures. You'd find the photos for Resinsoul Gang on his page on the Resinsoul site. Then for his thighs, he does have this coolio swoobling thigh piece, so his legs can turn for coolio awesome poseness. He's got his knees here, which are a whole separate piece, and they're supposed to be double jointed. So he should be able to kind of kneel, but it does kind of pop out a little bit up here. But he can technically kneel down. It just takes some balancing sometimes. But yeah, ta-da! Go down to his footsie. You can go up like so, and that's probably the most I've ever seen a foot go up on these dolls. And then down, and it can pivot to the side. For those that want to restring their Resinsoul dolls, Conard here was restrung with 3mm elastic. I got his from Tumblr in the flesh tone color because it looked pretty snazzy. And yeah, it is kind of a butt to get it through his arms though, because his arms are so thin and stuff, so I would probably suggest getting a thinner elastic specifically for the Resinsoul doll arms, because it's like crazy difficult to get the 3mm elastic through there. Not impossible, but it's hard to do. For those that are curious about the resin quality and the texture from Resinsoul and Bobobie, the texture is like really smooth. It's like silky smooth. And these guys, along with like every other doll from Resinsoul or Bobobie, do not have seams when you get them, because the wonderful people at Resinsoul and Bobobie like sand their dolls and get rid of the seams. Like even the dolls that are in the fantasy colors are, you know, they have their seams sanded, so you don't have to deal with seams, and it's pretty sweet. I love it. It's like silky smooth, which some people may like, some people don't like. I personally kind of like it, though it is kind of shinier than I would like, but a spray of Mr. Super Clear or whatever will give you a nicer matte finish. But yeah. I will say that if you want to hot glue spray these guys, because their resin is so smooth, it is kind of difficult to hot glue suede them, because the hot glue doesn't really have much to stick to. So yeah, it's not impossible to do, but it's kind of hard to do sometimes. As far as the quality goes, I've never really noticed any difference between their resin compared to other companies. I mean, it's still pretty good and stuff, so yeah, haha. They are casted a bit thinner though than other dolls in their size, so you will want to be a little more careful with them. Like, you don't have to be super delicate with these guys because they're pretty durable, but with pieces like their elbows here, which are particularly thin and stuff, you just want to make sure not to like overbend their arms or whatever, or else you might break like right here where it's thinnest. And yeah. Now before I forget, for standing, they're pretty good at standing. Though I do have this kind of quirk to them. At least mine have. They tend to lean back a lot. I'm not quite sure what makes them do this, but you know, if you kind of mess with them a little bit before you stand them, though, you should be able to fix it and make them stand straight and sturfs. And that's all for this review. If you have any questions about the Apollo head or the Resinsoul body that is on, feel free to leave a comment down below in the comment section. Also, if you want to see more of Conrad or my other dolls, or just want to chat with me, then you can look me up on Den of Angels, Tumblr, or Flickr. Thanks for watching, everybody. See y'all in the next video.